recording now. So we're just going to continue from where we stopped yesterday. We're using the same data set as yesterday, though I modified it a little bit. Modified because yesterday's data was quite long, and so let's make the view. Let's allow it good. All right, so I added something else because of the kind of formulas we're working with today. I added names just to play around, and I just pressed 10 in that list. So selecting 10 mean that if you add the header, we have 11 rows and how many columns? And 9 columns. So today we're going to be starting off with the lookups, and then we're going to do trim, and then we're going to do concatenate. We're going to try that in Excel, and then we'll try XLOOKUP in Google Sheets. We can do XLOOKUP in Excel, but it is not in every version of Excel. So currently, this version, I can't use XLOOKUP in it. So we will do that in Google Sheets. So we'll do XLOOKUP in Google Sheets. We'll use the unique and then the unique ifs because we didn't touch on that yesterday. So to start with the lookups, why do we do lookups? For instance, I want to maybe pick a corresponding data for any particular reason. Let me give an example of I want to do that. I know Adekunle is supposed to be male, right? Maybe because of the name. So what if I want to state his age in another, maybe I want to reference it in another data set in whatever point where I want to sort of bring a corresponding data to, for instance, let's put Adekunle here. So I can say is equal to very easy because I'm referencing the name directly, or I'm referencing the content of the cell directly, Adekunle. Now I want Adekunle's age right here. So I will do a VLOOKUP. Now, all the lookups, we have 4 different lookups now. If you have your Jota, you can also read up on it later. But we have 4 different lookups that we use in spreadsheets. We have VLOOKUP, that's vertical lookup. We have horizontal lookup. Then we have XLOOKUP that sort of combines both of them. All right, sorry, there are 3, not 4. The VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is the one that is more modern, that most data analysts do not even use the VLOOKUP or the HLOOKUP again. For instance, I've never had to use the HLOOKUP, but I've used the VLOOKUP when I'm working on an Excel version that doesn't do XLOOKUP. But if I'm working on Google Sheets, XLOOKUP always. All right. So let's go. Yesterday we did if. So VLOOKUP now. VLOOKUP because we want to do vertical. What do I mean by vertical? Um, if we're referring to columns, that is, we're referencing based on columns. Let me explain. The names where Adekunle is in column A, while the age I want is in column C. Therefore, I use the VLOOKUP or the XLOOKUP. So let's learn the way the formulas are arranged are different. So let's just stick with the VLOOKUP for now. To do that, I'll just say is equals to VLOOKUP look up what term. I want to look up Ekunle. Huh? And in this data set that is between A and C is where both the name range, that is where Adekunle is, and the age range, that's where they are. Then how how many within my range, that's I've selected A to C, where is the age? Remember, name is on um is on column 1, gender is on column 2, age is on column 3. So I'm referencing 3. And there's another thing you can add, which means, is it an approximate match I want or an exact match? Usually I put this as false, that is 0. Exact match, I want an exact match, not something approximate, because it's my data is definite. So I use an exact match. So I should get 79, which is Adekunle's age according to the data set here. All right. I though I like to show them here, but let's do something that may allow you see why we may be doing this. Let me say I'm interested in only the females. So I'm going to let's go to another sheet, and then let me see if I can. do let's do only the females. So let me put a apologies for that. Let me put a filter on this, and then we'll pick out only the females. I was thinking of using a formula, but we're still trying to learn something that may be complicated to a few people. So let me not complicate it more. So let's work with males only. Um, Maybe let me just pick their names, then put it in sheet 3, and then let's view here. All right. So I want their I want their for the females, I just want their age and age, um their age, their heart condition, and their BMI. So age, heart condition, and BMI only. That's what I want to show here. So first, I'm just going to do, remember, age, heart condition, and BMI. That's what we want. So for I can just copy age and okay, age, heart condition, BMI. I can put their age, I can put AGE like this for age. Or I can start using my formula from there, which is equals to VLOOKUP. I'll look up this value in and release the, either we release the filter or not, it will do the same thing. I want to check it in this range, that is A to C of this data in sheet 2. And remember that 1, 2, 3 is still 3, so I'm going to put it as 3. And then remember the last point, I always put it as false, which is 0. So you can see it brings the age out, which I can write. But since I don't want to write it, I want the formula to start from there. I'll just do, okay, let me do that again. If you want to drag down a formula, you can see my cursor. When I bring it to the right bottom corner of the cell that has a formula, it will change to a small plus sign, both in Google Sheets and in Excel. So here, I can just double click with that, and then my formula will be applied to the cells that are below. However, if there is a maybe a blank cell on the other column that's on the A column, it will stop from there. So that's why you have to be careful when you use the drag down or anything like that. So age brought by VLOOKUP. Now I can decide to use VLOOKUP again to bring. We said we're interested in art conditions, so I'm going to go again. Is equals to VLOOKUP. Here I can use the age, but again, remember that two people can have the same age. For now, our unique identifier, when you're referencing with, when you're looking up a value, please be sure that you're using a unique identifier. If not, you're going to give the value that belongs to someone else to another person. You're going to mix up the data. That's one of the downsides of using VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP or HLOOKUP if you do not have what is called unique identifier in your data. For now, I made sure that no two people are bearing the same name. That way, I can always reference their names. I can't reference the gender. Remember, they are either male or female. So, and of course, for all of this, is they are all female. So I can't reference the gender. I can only reference the name as the unique identifier. So that's what we'll stick with. Going back to our VLOOKUP, we want to look up age. No, we will not look up age. We will look up the name again. And here I have range from name to, we said the heart condition, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to find out the fifth one in the range, and of course 0 as usual, heart disease. Then I'm not going to drag down now. I'll show you how you can drag more than one formula down at the same time. So I'm not going to drag down now. I'm interested in the average BMI, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the eighth column. I'm going to go again, is equal to VLOOKUP, referencing the name. I am dragging all the way, that's A to BMI, and we've calculated that that's the eighth column. So 8, 0. So let's see how we can drag down two formulas at the same time. I'm just going to highlight both of them, and then I'll double click on the bottom right corner. Good. So our data set is looking, change our zoom to 200%. Okay, this works. So all of this data we got, all of this referencing we got using VLOOKUP. Um, I I told you I have an obsession for making my data look really good. Once I see somebody's sheet not looking, make me feel somehow. So let me do as I please. Now, if we want to use a HLOOKUP, let me see a reason why we could use the HLOOKUP. Um, let's say I have all of this. All right. I wanted to replicate them using formulas since we're learning formulas, right? Now, I want to let me pull um the data for the person on the, let's just say somebody on the fourth. That's why I'm saying I have never had to use this, but I know it's a formula and we promise to learn it. So let's try HLOOKUP. I want to pick the guy in the fourth column. So um, who is in the fourth? Sorry, the fourth row. Let's release this filter. Yeah, the fourth person on the row is a male, so I want to pick Peter. I want to pick all of the indices for Peter. So let's put Peter's name here. Now, I want Peter's age is I want to, yeah, let's pick the fourth person. Let's just work with the fourth person. So let's try is equal to um VLOOKUP, oh sorry, lookup in this case, it lookup. We want to look up horizontally now. That is, we want to look up by rows. In row one is the title, that's the column headers, and some call it column titles. I want to look up the name of the fourth person in this data set. So fourth person will be Peter on column 5. So that's 1 to 5. Then I'm just going to do the fifth and 0 as usual. So you can see how it brought out the name of the fifth person, though I still do not know the use case yet. Let me drag it and see what it looks like. Yeah, Peter is 66 years old. He has a heart condition and his BMI is 29. Let's find out if that's correct. Yeah, Peter is 66. He has a heart condition and his BMI is 29. So that's correct. Well, I don't know what the use cases will be, but the good thing is that you've learned the H lookup. You just the same way we've learned the V lookup. Me, I've used more V lookup than, in fact, I only practiced it because I wanted to teach this class. I've not had to use it. Now that being done, we've gone 20 minutes and we still have more formulas to learn. But how are we doing? Is this working out? What do you think? Can you hear me? All right. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? Drop some thoughts on the chat. Let me know what's going on. Let me hear your feedback. I know some of these formulas can be a bit complicated. So what are you thinking? Drop something on the chat. Okay, people are giving thumbs up. Let me hear your thoughts. Or unmute your microphone and say something. Let me know how this is going. Hope I'm not going too fast. It's not too much at the same time, or it's just cool. Okay, Fatima is confused with this referencing from another sheet. All right, good to know that. Good to know that. Someone else, I would like to hear at least two more comments and then we'll move on. We need to talk more about referencing from another sheet. Anybody else? What are your thoughts? I've not seen any other person's thoughts here. All right, we will continue. I will be checking. Okay, I'm confused too. Perhaps the data set is a little bit different from what I have here. Yes, the data set is a little bit different, but I only added the name and I only added the name. Okay, I only added the names, and then we picked the first 10 people in that data set from yesterday. Can we go the route of typing the formula instead of picking? Hmm. Yes, yes, yes. Don't worry. The good thing is this. Um, the sessions are recorded, and I'm looking at doing additional videos that will break it down so that you can learn um, one concept at a time. Though we may not be able to do that in our live sessions. This should be more like summaries and all of that. So I'll concentrate on getting more videos that teach all the basics one by one. In case when there is a uniform data in the column, can we still use the formula to pick unique information? Uh, if the as long as you don't have a unique identifier, it will be difficult to pick the correct information. For instance, if I have um, two Gemila in this data, I've messed things up. Anytime I reference the name Gemila, it will pick the first one. That means the second Jamila will always have the identity or the details of the first one. That's why very important unique identifiers. That's why if you see any data set that is sales data, they have the order number as the unique identifier. Every data set, once it doesn't have the unique identifier, it becomes very difficult to analyze. All right. Uchenna say HLOOKUP no enter. Yes, I because I don't use it much, it didn't enter too. I had to just go refresh my knowledge again of how to use it. So don't worry for those who this is a bit too much. I'm going to try and break it down into sections where you can watch and then give feedback. And one good thing is that you have from our interaction in the Google um in the group that's on WhatsApp, you can chat me up directly and maybe ask questions about any of the process. The most important thing is once you keep using these words, you keep working on it, once you get the concept and you keep doing some exercise, it will only get better. So don't worry about it at all. For Ridwan La is saying maybe we should not peak. Oh, if you don't peak, typing out all, for instance, I want to do HLOOKUP, then I have to type, it will take longer, then I can make mistake in typing it. That's why it's easier to pick. And you won't even know you've made a mistake. Like yesterday, I wanted to do count ifs. I missed the T. And I thought my formula was because I kept getting errors. So it is easier if your software, either Google Sheets or Excel, if it suggests formulas, please, as long as it's the right one, please pick it. So that's the advantage of picking the formulas. While you're learning data analysis, you also need to learn what we call best practices so that it's easier for you to work with. All right. So in some cases, I'll try if I can type out some of them. Yes, if the data is uniform, we can type can it be referenced in the cell number? Yes, any referencing can be done, but remember, if the data you're using to reference is not unique, you will get wrong values. You may get at least one wrong value for where there are repetitions. All right, so let us proceed. We have another 30 minutes. Thank you for the feedback. I really love this feedback. Please don't let me wait until don't let me have to ask. Just drop your thoughts if you're not getting something, and you can interrupt me, please. you can tell me, please, I'm not getting what you're saying. Please just say one thing again or teach this concept again, please. Just put up your hand and we're going to stop and take it again. All right, so let's proceed. Um, let us learn, let us go over the picking from another sheet. The referencing works the same way. Either it is the same sheet or another sheet in the workbook. For instance, if I want to reference from the same sheet, I just need to go to the column I want to reference. I want to reference Susan, right? That Susan is A4. Get it right. Now, let's say I want to reference A4 in the other sheet. I'll go is equal to, and then I'll go to the other sheet. If you look up here at the formula bar, you will see that it shows that I'm on sheet 2, though I have not picked any cell in sheet 2. I want to do A4. So you see it written right up here, sheet 2, A4. Then I press my is equal to, and then it takes me back to the sheet where I'm working from. So it's pretty the same. You just need to navigate between the sheets and that's all. Just go to the bar, go to the tab rather, go to the tab down here that shows the sheet you want to reference from, and then you choose the identity of the cell or range you want to reference there. Now let us work with okay, someone's hand is up. All right, we're good to go. Let us work with concatenate. I thought I checked and I didn't see anybody's hand.
So my hand is up. Sorry, sir. Sorry to cut you
All
short.
right.
Okay, so I think the issue with the cell referencing, I had like three different people reached out to me today about the cell referencing. So it has to do with trying to reference another sheet aside the one that they are working on where the main data is, and if what I realize is if they do not add maybe the comma after selecting the exact cell they are working on or the exact data they are picking, the range they're selecting, if there is no comma and they go back to the new sheet that they're working on, it changes the referencing. So I think that
Oh,
part needs to be explained.
okay. Oh, thank you so much for that. Um, every time you use a how will I put it? Every time you use if you're working with a formula, immediately you you pick whatever range or cell that you want to use in that formula, you have to lock it in with the comma sign or with the sign because you soon get to formulas where you use the semicolon. Whatever you need to lock in that particular part of the formula, you need to use it because if you move, even if you mistakenly click on another cell within the same sheet, it will reference something else. It means you have not picked you have not picked your you have not picked your reference or you've not picked anything if you do not use that comma sign. Very important. It's you use it to lock in that part of the formula. Thank you, Juliet, for um, helping us shed some light on that. I didn't know that was where the problem is. All right. Thank you, Munira. Thank you, Juliet. Now you know the people you can always reach out to apart from me that can show you what you may be missing. So let's talk about concatenate. I This is a formula that I love because it's a lifesaver. Let me explain. When I started using data, and we use the formula to write more like a report. For instance, you want to write, oh, this student scored blah 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 blah. you use the concatenate. Let's try something. Is equals to use the concatenate, and let me see. I want to say tell me your name. That's what I want to say. But in this case, let's say I want to say the name of the patient or the subject. So if you're writing a text, please always put in a quotation mark. The name, name, name of the subject is. So I'm going to put I'm going to close my text, but to close my text there. Let me put then comma. Let's say this is the name of the subject. So here I'm going to make this long. You can see what it says. The name of the subject is Anna. Um, let's bring this formula down here where Anna is. Let's drag down and see what it looks like. Oh, sorry, I forgot my own rule. Is if there's a an empty space, it would not work. So let's try it again. You can see we can use that um to add a to join text together. Let me add something to this comma and Susan with a BMI. So let me do with comma with a BMI of, then we cut it off again and pick the BMI. Take a look at what we have. The name of the subject is Anna with a BMI of 18.2. You can see what it looks like now. Let's call this. All right, good. So this is how and why we use the concatenate um, formula. Sometimes you need to do that, especially when you're going to write reports. Remember when you're doing reporting, that's the result of your analysis. You either generate reports or you generate dashboards. So when you have to do reports that are automated, you have the use of text, and when you want to add text with that function along with formulas or references, you need to learn how to use the concatenate formula. Um, who agrees with me that this is simple? If you agree that this is simple, just give a thumbs up. All right. All right. Two people have agreed that this is simple. Ah, I doesn't agree. Okay, Kande doesn't agree that this is simple. Okay, we're going to take. Okay, Samson does not. All right, let's take that again. Let's take the concatenate again. In concatenation, let me explain again. when we use text, I like to always read the what the formula says. It says join several text strings into one text string. Some use the concat. Sometimes I struggle with it, so I always prefer you use the concatenate. So let's stick with this. What we're trying to do is to make a narration from this data. I don't want to use the if so that we don't get confused, because we can make it say, okay, they are all ladies, right? So let's make it say that she, since they are all ladies. Let's try it again. Nate, I'm going to choose the concatenate. Um, and then I want to say the name of the subject is Anna. She is 32 years old, and her BMI is 18.2. But I don't want to write that referencing for everyone. So I'm going to write it into a formula that I can drag down that narrates for every other person. So let's try it out. I'm going to say, remember, if I want to put words or strings, that's anything I don't anything I that cannot be mathematically manipulated is a string. So like a word or a sentence, like um the name of the subject is, so I'm going to stop there, because I want it to pick the name. I put a comma. Remember, I've locked in my string, and then I picked A3 as the name of the subject. So it will say the name of the subject is A3, which is Anna, comma, I want to continue. Of course, I'll continue with a comma. Um, the comma, then she is 32 years old. So I also want, sorry, I need to put this in a, and to wrap this, she is 32 years old. Close again. This time I put a comma. Remember, I would like a full stop. Sorry, that's not supposed to end. I'm not done. I just wanted to put a full stop. Right? Then comma again. What do I want to write? BMI is, then I leave space. I close my quotation because I'm done with the words is. So I have a narration for this lady now. The name of the subject is Anna. She is 32 years old. Her BMI is 18.2. Very simple. Then I will drag down for everyone. So you can see the next one says the name of the subject is Susan. That's Susan here. She is 24 years old. Her BMI is 30.05. Just the same narration, or the same set of data will come out with if I just leave the data and I'm reading it to somebody. So that is using concatenation. All right. Um, we may need to learn the trim, but I'm looking at how we can do that here. So let's see if we can use a trim. Let me let's leave this one on this side so that we we can come back to it. So it's here. Please, this worksheet, I'm going to upload it to a drive and share it so that everyone can see all the formulas that are there. Something I didn't do yesterday. Apologies for that. Um, let's comment. Let's call it concatenation. So good to go. Let's try the trim before our time runs out for this session. Let me say I want to trim. I don't even know why I would trim, but let's try trim. Okay. So let's I now understand where we can need the trim, but it's going to affect our formula. So let's do this somewhere else so that we don't. It's going to affect the trim. Yeah, you see, this is why I didn't want to use the trim here. And let's do it. Let's another sheet and then we'll do a trim. Um, all right. Let's say here this data. Okay. Um, I want to paste values only. Good. All right. So I don't want it to have any formulas. Now, sometimes in trim, we use trim if we're dealing with data that we suspect might have some spaces that are very terrible. I've added two spaces here. I've added one here. Okay. All right. So I made this data to look like this because sometimes that's what you find in data sets when you're dealing with data cleaning. Now, Anna, Anna is having some um, some problems with the fact that she has spaces in her name. So let's trim all of that so that their names are looking proper, and then that's where we can say this data has become cleaner. Let's say is equal to in. I want to trim this content to not have any spaces. So immediately you see that there are no spaces in front of the Anna. All extra spaces have been dealt with. Here, or let me see, let me put it this way. Yeah. So every extra space have been dealt with and the data is cleaner. That's where you use the trim formula. And it's, of course, it is very straightforward. You just use the trim and reference the cell where the content you want to trim is. This is especially useful if you're working with a large data set and immediately you open it, you notice that there are some extra spaces in trimming in the data that you have to work with. If you make it cleaner, then you can use this properly in your further references. In our next class, which will be on Friday, we're going to be dealing with just cleaning data sets, and I'm hoping that between now and that Friday, we would have gotten many of what we've talked about here because it will be critical for us to clean data. So I'm